Hello and welcome to this LSN Inspo weekly video where we are going to be starting week 1 of our 5-week personal development challenge that we raised in last week's video. If you've not seen last week's video, please go and watch that before you watch this one, because it will explain what the personal development challenge is all about. It's essentially about finding balance and harmony in your life, and I explain why that's important and how to find it. So it is important that you watch that one before this one. So in this first of the 5-week personal development challenge, we'll be looking at finding your why, how to find your why, and why it's important to find your why. I'm Sally Oddy, founder of LSN Group and a mentor with a business, marketing and mindset twist. So I hope you find this video really useful and interesting. As I said before, comment down below with a "I'm with you" to let me know that you're taking this challenge, because it's a great positive way to start off the new year. So I've been on a bit of a personal development journey lately, and part of that personal development journey led me to a big realization, but it all actually started with finding my why, and that's why this is the first part of the series and why finding your why is so important, because it really does run through the heart of everything that you do. Finding your why can have an incredibly positive impact on your life in every aspect of your life, personally, professionally, your relationships, your family, your career, everything. Finding your why can lead to a much more positive and harmonious way of life. But this is not a quick exercise to be raced through, written down, and then just moving on. This is something that you need to take your own time with. It's different for everybody. How you find your why might be different for everybody. This is just me telling you how I found my why. It takes everyone, I think, a different amount of time. There's no right, there's no wrong. It really is up to you how long this takes and how in-depth the process is to you. It might be a quick realization, but for some of us it might take a little bit longer. The majority of this thinking comes from Simon Sinek, who is the author of Start With Why. If you've not watched any of Simon's videos, I do suggest you find his TED Talk, which you can just find on YouTube. It's actually good to hear from the man himself explain why starting with your why is so important. Fundamentally, your why should be at the start and heart of everything you do. It's our purpose, our real reason for being and for doing anything that we do. Finding this why and this purpose is what separates us from the animals. Quite literally. Animals essentially live to survive, but we as human beings seek to know why we survive. We need a purpose, we need a reason. Without that purpose and reason for our survival, we can quickly become disillusioned, disassociated, oh, there's a little moth, and a bit depressed as well. Oh, it's a ladybird. Sorry about that. Yeah, we can quickly become disillusioned, disassociated, kind of a bit depressed, lose our way, demotivated. So not having a purpose and not having a why really can lead to a lot of negativity in our lives. When we have a defined purpose and we've found our why, we become a lot more focused, more energetic, we have more get up and go, we're sharper, we're happier, and also we are healthier. So again, finding your why is really, really crucial. Your why is the single thing that drives you on, puts a pep in your step, and gets you out of bed in the morning. So if you haven't found it, and if you're feeling a bit disillusioned, if you're feeling a bit demotivated, lacking energy, then this video is for you, and so is the 5-week challenge. So please do, again, drop in the comments with an "I'm with you" to let me know you're going to be with me on this challenge. So how do you find this elusive why? Well, don't worry, it's actually not as difficult as it might seem in terms of the theory behind how to find it. Obviously, answering the questions that come along with it can be a bit trickier. Like I said, there's no right or wrong answers. You take your time, you answer what works for you, and find your own why in your own time. This is just what worked for me to find my why. So to find my why, I answered 5 groups of questions. So there was 5 topics that I sort of decided on, and then I answered various questions underneath those topics. Now what I suggest you do is actually use a separate piece of paper for each of the question topic areas, which I will talk to you about just now, because in the end it's good to have them all on separate sheets of paper so you can filter them out, whether you do them on your computer or write them by hand, whatever, but have them on different sheets of paper because it will make life easier at the end. So your first sheet of paper is a why question, and it's about what makes you tick. But the questions that fall under the what make you tick question theme are, so what are you passionate about? What makes you feel your blood is pumping, you're raving about something, you are emotive about something, when you start talking about it you can't stop and you get really passionate and really going on and on about it. What is that thing that just drives you, that you just love, that whenever you start talking about it you really feel yourself come alive? Write down what that thing is. Now, there might be more than one thing, and this is why writing these things on different pieces of paper is helpful, because we can have lots of different things that we're passionate about, obviously, but it doesn't mean that they are all our why. We'll come down to fundamentally how we find the main nub of our why, but just write down everything you can think of for now under this category. So what do you believe in? What do you stand for? What inspires you? What causes do you support? What impact do you want to have on the world? How do you want to be remembered? As you're writing down the answers to these questions, really pay attention to the emotions that are coming from writing down the answers. How do they make you feel? These things that you're passionate about, write down those emotions as well. So really dig into what makes you tick and what you're passionate about. The second category of questions is to literally ask yourself why. So for each of the answers you gave in the first category, ask yourself why over and over and over again. So it might be, there is a ladybird flying around. I'm not going to ask myself why, but there is one. So for example, you in your first why, in what you're passionate about, you might have written that you're passionate about gardening. Well, the practice of asking yourself why over and over again is to really nail down and get to the heart of why you're passionate about something. So you can say, I'm passionate about gardening, ask yourself why. Because it attracts the birds, ask yourself why. Because I like to create an environment where the birds are safe and they can thrive, ask yourself why. Well, I love birds, ask yourself why. I've been fascinated with them since I was a child. So you might have started off by saying you like gardening, but actually the nub of it is that you actually really love and are passionate about birds. I know that's a weird example, but it just gives you an idea of how asking yourself why until you've exhausted the why opportunities or options is a good way to get to the heart of why you're passionate about something. So that's the second sort of category of question. The third category of question is to ask yourself what your innate strengths are. Now, this is one that can actually be a little bit challenging because I think sometimes we find it hard to identify our own strengths in ourselves. So if you struggle with this one, ask those nearest and dearest to you what they would say your personal strengths are, and then write them down and then question yourself on whether or not you agree and whether you think those are your strengths. But think about what you've always been good at, what skills you've learned and acquired, what knowledge you've acquired over the years, what problems you're able to solve really easily that other people seem to have problems doing. Really think about all of the different things, the skills, the knowledge and your experience that makes up your strengths, and write all of those down as well. So it could be that you're creative, you're a problem solver, you're analytical, good at maths, I don't know, you're a good peacekeeper. It can literally be anything, and don't try and limit yourself to keeping in a specific theme. Just write them all down. If nothing else, it'll give you a really good morale boost and make you realise that you're a lot better at a lot more stuff than you realised you were good at. So one of the reasons this is a really good part of the exercise is because we as humans naturally aspire towards achieving the ambitions for which we have natural talent to achieve. So when you've discovered what you're passionate about and you really understand why you're passionate about it, and then you've identified what your strengths are, you can kind of start to correlate the two and figure out what your natural abilities are that would help you achieve your why, your purpose. So you can start to see now how these different things come together. The fourth question category is the how questions. Asking yourself how you can add value. So how can you use your strengths, your knowledge, your expertise to add value? How can you use your passion and your strengths? How can you turn your passion and strengths into something tangible that others will value or use or benefit from? So this really is the how question. So you've identified what your passions are, you've now started thinking about your strengths, now start thinking about how you would implement them. Again, just write them all down, look back to your first few lots of answers, correlate them with the hows on these ones and figure out, sort of start to fit them together, so that if your first one was passionate about birds and the inner strength is that you're patient, is the how that you'd be really, really good looking at birds for a long period of time. That's a really crap example, but you know what I mean. So like, try and correlate your passion and your strength to the how, so you're feeding it through. Literally, there's a ladybird on my thing there. Anyway, that ladybird's very distracting. The next category of questions is the what questions. What can you actually start to deliver? So now you've thought about your why, your passions, you've really come down to the nub of your why. Oh, this ladybird's doing my head in. You've really come down to the nub of your why. You can now start to think about what opportunities, what roles, what careers, what jobs can utilise the how of what you've said you're able to do, and how you're going to be able to use your strengths and how you're going to use your passion. Now you need to think about how you can turn that how into a what. So what platform can you use to share your passion and your strengths with the rest of the world? A good idea actually is to research and have a look at other people who seem to share your passion and share your skill set, and see what they're doing, how they're delivering their passion and their how to the world. What platforms are they using to deliver on their how and their why? So now's a good time to just have a look at Simon Sinek's Golden Circle. So as you can see here, you can just download this from the internet anywhere. The why is at the very middle, then the how and the what. So the why is the constant, it remains the same. The how and the what can change. Successful entrepreneurs, they do the how and the what in a lot of different ways. They might do a lot of different things, have a lot of different businesses, but fundamentally what you'll probably find is their why stays the same. So now, looking back at all of the questions you've answered, it might be blindingly obvious what your main why is, but it might not be. So what I did is write down, I had quite a few of these pages, and I wrote my different various whys, my different various hows, and my different various whats on different pieces of paper. And as I was writing them, I paid attention to how it made me feel. And as I was going through them all, I was able to eliminate some. It doesn't mean those passions aren't still really important, those strengths aren't still really important. Yes, of course they are. But what we're trying to do is help you identify the fundamental why, your main key purpose, because that's a good starting point to move forward and build the how and the what. So as I said at the beginning, take your time, answer these questions in your own time. Everyone comes to this differently. It might take somebody a day, a week, a month. Honestly, there is no right or wrong here. Take your time, write the answers, really think about how it makes you feel, and that will all help you towards finding your own why. Knowing your why and putting your why at the heart of everything you do will make you feel empowered, which will in turn empower others. It's that powerful. So your why is basically your own personal brand story that will attract others with a similar passion and a similar why to you. So you can start to see how your why works both personally and professionally. Professionally, when you put everything, your why at the heart of everything, you naturally attract the right audience to your business. And obviously personally, putting your why at the heart of everything means that the friends and the relationships you attract in your life will be people with very similar values and similar purpose to you, which will again bring more harmony and balance into your life. So I really hope that this exercise, answering these questions, will bring you a little bit closer, or hopefully get you all the way there, to finding your why and helping you put that at the heart of everything you do. The next week's video will be about identifying your core values, which come on from finding your why, which is why each stage has to follow on from the other. So I really hope that you found this useful. If you found your why already, please do, if you want to, share it in the comments so we can all learn from and get inspiration from one another. As I've said, if you are taking up this 5-week personal development challenge, please stick a "I'm with you" in the comments as well, to let me know that I'm not doing this on my own and that it is helping some people out there, because that would really just mean the world to me. So thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. I really hope that you found it useful, and I'll see you next Thursday. Bye!